Hi, this is my entry into dislexsicknik's contest that he's holding right now. He is approaching or has passed at this point already 550 subscribers. Congratulations. Since I wasn't yet a subscriber when this video came out, I've only just recently subscribed to him. I was aware of his channel, but I didn't pay attention that much until I saw other people who I already subscribed to enter his contest. It was intriguing. He's got some really cool prizes here. He's got 35mm prints of the Dogma trailer and The World Is Not Enough, the James Bond trailer, which is fun. You know, I wouldn't be able to actually watch a 35mm trailer because I don't have a 35mm projector, but it's a cool item. He's also got a two-sided poster for a couple of horror movies, one of which is The Demon, the other is called Mausoleum. And he's got a mystery package of DVDs. He's not telling anyone what's in the package until, I don't know, you get it, something like that. Anyway, sounds good. And it's all about 80s stuff. So yeah, I was born in '73, so I did a lot of growing up in the 80s. I guess it was, what was I, 16 in '89, something like that? Yeah, that's right. So 16 was before I entered my late teen years. So I was still very much a kid during most of the 80s, despite the fact that other boys my age were becoming interested in dating. I would, be thinking about, Transformers and GoBots and what have you still at that point. So anyway, he asked a number of different questions, and the options are you can answer any one of these questions, or you can answer all of them, and the more you answer, the more entries you get into the drawing, which is great. Let me start with my favorite 80s comedy star. I have been big on Steve Martin, and also really liked Fisher Stevens in the Short Circuit movies. He played a great character in that. But if there's one guy I like about all of them, I think would have to be Martin Short, and that's primarily because of Inner Space. Inner Space is a movie that came out in '87. I went to see it 5 times in the theater. It was like one of the first movies that I went on my own to see in the theater. I would just ride my bike to the theater several times and catch it just because I loved it so much. According to legend, I actually recited the entire movie from memory on a car trip with my family at one point. But Martin Short's just one of those really cool guys, just really funny and high energy, and I've always just liked him. Yeah, it's good to see him, and that's definitely sort of like my top movie for him. Which brings me to the question, what's your favorite comedy of the 80s? Well, I would say Inner Space, but technically I'd have to say Back to the Future. It's funny, the other question here is what's your favorite sci-fi fantasy movie from the 80s? And Inner Space and Back to the Future fit into both of those categories because they're comedy science fiction movies or sci-fi comedies. Ghostbusters is kind of a comedy fantasy or fantasy comedy, something like that. They could all sort of fit into here, but I'm going to go with Back to the Future for my favorite 80s comedy. And for my favorite 80s science fiction movie, and he was specific about, sort of nostalgic 80s style fantasy science fiction. Of course, I got to go with E.T. because E.T. was a movie that just was a big part of my life. As big as any of the Star Wars movies, E.T. was very important to me. So yeah, favorite 80s comedy, Back to the Future, with Inner Space and Ghostbusters running close second. Favorite sci-fi movie, E.T. Of course, I love movies like RoboCop and The Fly, but those aren't like childhood favorites of mine. Those are like, the more mature movies that I got into once I started seeing more adult R-rated fare. E.T. was really like the ultimate science fiction movie, if you don't count the Star Wars and Star Trek movies. With Star Trek, of course, is great, but it's more like an overall thing, whereas E.T. is like a specific film, if you get my meaning. Finally, the last thing I'd like to show you is my 80s item, and I don't have many of these left. But luckily, I came across a friend of mine from school who had an item that he took from me quite some time ago. This is Soundwave, the original Soundwave character from the original Transformers, not the new Transformers movies, but the Transformers toys created by Hasbro and turned into both a comic series by Marvel and an animated series. And this guy is really old and out of shape and is crotchety and is bad-tempered and has to go to the bathroom 3 times a night, but he's still alive and kicking. Soundwave, there you go. Awesome. There is my 80s item, and I don't think it gets much more 80s than classic Transformers Soundwave. So that is my entry into the contest. Thanks very much for watching. Very excited to see who gets the prize. I really like those 35mm film trailers. The World Is Not Enough is actually my favorite of the 4 Pierce Brosnan Bond movies. I know a lot of people really hate it, but I think it's actually a more interesting movie than the other ones. So excited to see about that. Thanks very much for watching, guys. And the link, of course, to his channel is right below. And I've got my own contest right now. Just a couple more days to enter. So that link is below as well. Take it easy. Bye.